She fired him without asking why he was late, but the truth. He was donating blood to save her daughter's life. A powerful story about judgment, unseen sacrifice, and the quiet strength of those we overlook. Like and subscribe as we dive into this interesting story. Efima Johnson was a woman who built her empire on discipline, timing, and zero tolerance for excuses. CEO of one of the top real estate firms in Lagos, she was known for being razor-sharp, impeccably dressed, and almost intimidating in her presence. People feared being late around her, especially her staff. So when her personal driver, Emeka, failed to show up at the gate by 6:30 a.m. sharp, she paced furiously in her heels, checking the time every 2 minutes. 6:30. 6:45. 7 o'clock. By the time Emeka's dusty Toyota Camry finally pulled up the driveway at 7:15 a.m., Efima was already boiling. "What sort of nonsense is this?" she barked the moment he got out of the car. Emeka looked pale, sweat soaking through his uniform shirt. He opened his mouth to speak, but she raised a hand. "Don't say a word. You're late. 45 minutes late, Emeka. You know my daughter has a doctor's appointment. You know I have a breakfast meeting at Radisson. Yet you strolled in here like it's a casual Sunday morning. Madam, I'm so. Save it. You're fired." Her voice echoed across the compound. Emeka's face fell, but he didn't protest. He simply bowed his head and muttered, "Understood, Ma." Something about his silence irritated her even more. "You're not even going to explain," she snapped. "No excuse." He looked up, his eyes faintly red. Tired. Hollow. "It was a personal emergency, Ma. I didn't mean any harm. Everyone has emergencies, Emeka. Professionals prepare for them. I don't need a liability behind the wheel." With that, she waved at her PA, who was already calling a replacement driver. Emeka opened the car door for her one last time, quietly, before disappearing down the driveway on foot. She didn't ask where he was going. She didn't care. She had more pressing issues. Her 8-year-old daughter, Adaora, had been falling ill more frequently, and today was a major appointment to assess her condition. By 7:30 a.m., Efima was in the backseat of a new car, adjusting her blazer, still fuming at Emeka's carelessness. "Imagine," she muttered. "Late for work and full of attitude. Where do they find these people?" But what she didn't know, what no one told her, was that while she stood outside waiting in her crisp power suit, Emeka had been inside St. Teresa's emergency ward, donating blood to a critically ill girl rushed in during the early hours of the morning. A girl with a rare blood type. Her daughter. But she hadn't known. Not yet. And sometimes, the people we dismiss in seconds are the ones holding our whole world together behind the scenes. The hospital room was unusually quiet for a Tuesday. Efima sat beside Adaora's bed, watching the rhythmic rise and fall of her daughter's chest. The little girl looked pale but peaceful, her hand curled gently around a stuffed giraffe. And 4-line ran into her arm. Machines beeped softly in the background. The pediatrician, Dr. Talu, walked in with a clipboard and a calm smile. "She's stable now," he said gently. "But you were lucky, very lucky. We almost didn't find a matching donor in time." Efima looked up, confused. "Wait, what donor?" Dr. Talu raised an eyebrow. "No one told you." "Told me what?" He sat down beside her. "Adaora's blood type is AB negative. Very rare. We had no compatible blood in storage. We sent out an emergency alert, and just by chance, a man who had brought in another patient overheard and volunteered to donate. He was a perfect match." Efima's lips parted slightly. "Who was he?" Dr. Talu flipped through the file. "His name was Emeka Okoro. Does that sound familiar?" She froze. The name echoed in her head like a bell. "Emeka? My driver." "Yes. He said he was your driver." He was already at the hospital when the call came through. He was here for someone else, I think a friend or neighbor, but when he heard a child needed blood urgently, he stepped up. No hesitation. Efima's world tilted. All that morning, she had cursed him for being late. Shouted at him. Fired him. And while she was doing that, he had been inside this very building, saving her daughter's life. He didn't say anything, she whispered. Dr. Talou shrugged kindly. Some people don't need to. They just do the right thing and walk away. Her throat tightened. Is he still here? No. He left shortly after the transfusion. Didn't even wait for the thank you forms. Efima slumped into the chair, stunned. For years, she had prided herself on reading people, sizing them up quickly and efficiently. But she had misjudged the quiet man who held open her door every morning. She had treated him like background noise. And yet, he'd stepped in where no one else could. She reached for her phone and called her PA. Find Emeka, she said, her voice hoarse. Ma. I said find him. Immediately. The PA didn't ask questions. Efima turned back to her daughter and held her small hand tighter. You're here, because of him, she whispered. And for the first time in years, the iron-hearted CEO felt something crack, guilt, humility, and a deep, unfamiliar gratitude. But this wasn't the end. She knew she had to face him. Because apologies, real ones, sometimes come after you've lost something more than time. They come after you've seen a man's true worth. It took Efima's assistant 2 full days to track Emeka down. He hadn't returned home. His phone was off. His landlord hadn't seen him since Tuesday. But eventually, a nurse at the hospital remembered that he had mentioned visiting a cousin in Aguda. That clue led to a small church compound where Emeka was volunteering, quietly sweeping the compound and helping repair benches. He didn't look surprised when she walked in. Only tired. Efima stepped out of the black SUV and stood there for a moment, watching him. He was dressed simply, as always, faded shirt, old shoes, that same quiet humility written across his posture. But this time, she saw him differently. Not as a driver, but as a man who had given a part of himself to save someone she loved. He saw her and stopped sweeping. Good evening, Ma, he said politely. She swallowed. Emeka. I came to talk. He nodded once. I thought you might. She walked closer. I didn't know what you did. At the hospital. He looked away. I wasn't looking for thanks. But you deserve it, she said quickly. And more. I judged you. Treated you like nothing. I even fired you, without listening. He gave a soft smile. You were scared. Any mother would be. That's no excuse. Silence fell between them. Children played nearby. A church bell rang softly in the background. She tried again. Why didn't you tell me what you were doing? Emeka finally met her eyes. Because kindness isn't something you announce, Ma. You just do it. If I had told you, it would have sounded like I was trying to earn my job back. But I didn't donate blood to save my job. I did it to save your daughter. Tears pricked her eyes. She's stable now. Because of you. He nodded, emotion flickering in his gaze. She's a bright child. She always greets me. Not many people do. That hit her hard. Her daughter, the one person who saw him, was the one whose life he saved. She stepped closer. Emeka. I'm sorry. I forgive you, he said gently. Please come back. He paused. To work? Yes. But not as a driver. He raised a brow. Then as what? As our personal logistics coordinator. I'll double your salary. Pay for night school. Help you grow, the same way you helped me see what I've become. He looked down at his hands. I've never asked for much, Ma. And that's exactly why you deserve more. A long silence followed. Then finally, Emika smiled, a real one. I'll think about it. Fair enough, she said. She extended her hand. Friends. He shook it, firm and steady. Friends. And as she walked back to her car, Ifeoma realized something: the people we overlook are often the ones holding up our world. Not every hero wears a cape. Some just wear a driver's uniform and carry a heart bigger than gold. Like and make sure to subscribe for more unbelievable stories.